Hello again, and welcome to Grow to Glow. I am Dr. Thashna Walsh, your lifestyle transformational therapist and coach and mentor. Now, I was listening to a podcast and someone said something that I wanted to share with you as well. And it was about competition. When I was practicing chiropractic, my boss used to talk about healthy competition. And every time he said that, something inside me just went, ooh. Competition is something that I'm not sold on. Okay. Okay, if you're an athlete and but when it comes on to competing against each other in the same workspace to create the same outcome for people, I am not a part of that. Okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, you're basically telling people to work against each other. That's just how I see it. And whenever something was competitive, I would just like, I'm not a part of it. Um, and even in my business, and a lot of people tell me that I am freaking crazy. Even in my business, they tell me about, look at what your competitors are doing. Look at what this person is doing. I said, okay, I am going to look at what they're doing, but I'm not going to see them as my competitors. They may look at me as a competitor, but it's not like I can see everyone. There's more than enough coaches to go around. So I don't see, I personally don't see why we need to compete. And if you look at the world at the moment, everybody's competing against everyone. It's so silly. It's just like, oh, no wonder we're fighting against one another. Wonder we don't have relationship with each other because we are in envy and we're in judgment and we're in push against and we're again fight against. We're in competition. This is what wars and stuff are made of. We don't want to be a part of that. There's nothing healthy about it. Unless you're into sportsmanship, then that's okay. It's a game. As long as you can see it as that and not taking it too seriously and fighting against each other because of it. But most people are fighting. Okay. And I wanted to talk about it because within the stuff that I practice and I teach, I'm teaching the creative side of being, not the competitive side. And the first time I read that was in a book called The Science of Getting Rich. It's being creative as opposed to competitive. And what that means is you are cultivating the winner within yourself for yourself. And that winner, as he or she is being cultivated, is attractive because then she's creating winning, more winning. And then she's attractive because people are looking at her or him and going, what's she doing that I'm not doing? And then people want to learn, not to copy, but to learn how to do the thing that you're doing because we all have the capacity to do it. It's not copying. It's just that one person is got there first and then they can teach others how to do it. Okay, so nobody's copying anyone. So the creative way of doing things is learning your capacity, your potential for growth or expansion or being the best version of yourself. You are unique. You are an individual, which means no one can step into your space. Okay? So if you move out of the way, you're still taking yourself with you. So somebody can step in the space you were before, but it's not your space because you still occupy your space. You are an individual. You are one of a kind. Okay? You have a responsibility to be everything that you can be, to express the fullness of yourself, because there isn't another one of you. There isn't another Thashna. You may see someone that may look a little bit like me, or remind you of me, but that person is not me. And even if I were a twin, I have twin brothers, they look nothing alike and they're completely different, but they're twins. There are identical twins out there who look exactly the same, but they're very different. Yeah, because we're individuals. We see things differently. We have different perspective. I can't have the same perspective as you because you are probably in another country looking at me. The room you're in or the space you're in is completely different to the space I'm in. You're looking at me with the books behind me and the plants, and I can't see you, but I can imagine that whatever your background is going to be totally different to mine. Because what I am seeing is the computer in front of me and the pictures on my wall in the background. We're seeing two different things. We're always going to see two different things. Even if we're stood right next to each other looking at the same thing, we have different perspective. I'm slightly off to the right, you're slightly off to the left, see colors slightly different intensities. We describe things differently. It hit us differently. It might hit me really deeply and maybe bring tears to my eyes where you look at it and you go, wow, and it brings this vibrance to you. Perspective is different for everyone, and everyone is entitled to their own perspective. Another reason when it comes on to people who are competitive, they also want to tell you how you're supposed to behave, how you're supposed to think, how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to see their point of view over your own. No, we are individuals for a reason because we have a unique perspective, a unique view, a unique way of expressing. And me, I think about, and I've spoken about this before, being a coach, a mentor, and a therapist. There are millions of coaches, therapists, and mentors out there. But there's a time I was worried and thinking, what's the point? What's the point of being that? There's so many of them out there already. But there's none of them is Thashna Walsh. None of them is like Thashna Walsh. None of them is exactly the same as Thashna Walsh. None of them can carry my message like I'm carrying it because I am authentically me. Okay? And that is a difference when you're creating the version of you and the self that you want inside of you. I'm not trying to be Oprah. I'm not trying to be Tony Robbins. Yes, the things that they do to get their success inspires me, but I take it and I make it my own to do it my own way. So it's all about winning. But when I win, for me, it means you win. When you win, I'm hoping it means the person next to you wins and everybody wins. That's what we're here for. We're human beings. We're here together as a collective, a family on this earth, which is our home. We share all of this in common. So we need to be working together, not apart, not be competing against each other, working, collaborating, loving, sharing, lifting each other up. Okay, so I'm not all about the competition. Competition is why wars are started. So don't fight against your neighbor. I've got a client at the moment. He suffers deep anxiety because of this quarrel, or not quarrel, disagreement that they have with their neighbor. And he's very quiet and calm person. The neighbors are very just destructive, crazy people. So of course, imagine living next to that all the time. Imagine living next to that all the time. And I had to teach him how to think, instead of pushing that away and being like that with a neighbor, is to take in what's being said, what's being heard, and nurturing it with love and imagining the neighbor in the best way possible. Now, a lot of people tell me I'm crazy, somebody telling you you're this and you're that and trying to break you down and mash up your things. And you're telling me to love them. Yes, I'm telling you to love them because love heals all. Because when you love them, you are basically neutralizing that energy of crazy, that energy of destruction, that energy of war, that energy of competition. So you are basically destabilizing that. You're ripping the rug out from under their feet, and you're soothing yourself, and you're not allowing that energy to get inside of you. And you know what happens? People like that who are energy vampires, who want somebody to fight with, they want that clash, they want somebody to clang heads with. When they realize you're not clanging heads, you're just loving them, they're gonna freak out. They're gonna be like, "What are you doing?" And they're gonna call you crazy, and they're gonna turn the other way and go find somebody else to fight with. Or they might go, you might soften them until you start having conversation and everything calms down. Okay? But you can't fight fire with fire. You have to throw water on the fire. Well, it depends on the kind of fire anyway. But the one that I'm talking about, you can throw water on it. Okay? So you throw something cool, you cool it down. Love is cool and calming and soothing. Okay? So you have to let that stuff inside of yourself and go, okay, I feel this angst against this person that is coming at me. But you know what? I'm going to practice how to love that, how to love them, because this is a message. It's teaching me how to become a new person. Okay? And then what happens? You win. And the person that were angsting against, like I say, they either neutralize and you both win, or they go somewhere else and maybe pick a fight with someone else. And they may call that a win for themselves, but you win. And the energy that you're now bringing into the world is more uplifting. The frequency that you're bringing into the world is more soothing, and healing to the world. It's not angst and war and clashing. Okay? And that's what we're here for. We're here to be a part of each other's lives, healing one another, loving one another, and showing each other the way. And in this day and age, it can be done. People used to say, no, nothing's getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. But if that's your mindset, that's what you're going to be experiencing. You see people out there living life and enjoying themselves. And people are thinking, how are they doing that? They just seem so happy and not a care in the world. That's because they have a different headspace, a different mindset. So you want to win, you start becoming creative. And this being self, that's yourself, you're a creative being. Your words are creative, your feelings are creative, and the actions that you take are creating the world around you. Yes, it is, because it's all about energy. And the energy that you are emitting is the energy that you're attracting into your life. So when I win, you win. When we're being creative, when we're being competitive, basically everybody loses because everybody's just fighting and stressed out, and it's just taking energy and sucking the life out of you. Okay, so just make sure I'm answering. Yeah, so imagine a life where instead of fighting against one another, we are happy for each other. We're celebrating one another. We're building each other up. Say, for example, somebody on the streets begging, asking for money. And I used to do this, where I would go get up and get a job. And look at you, you're a young person. What the heck is wrong with you? Get up and get a job. Stop being such a lazy bum. I used to feel like that. But you know how I feel now? I look at that person and I don't know what's brought them there. Because I remember when I became homeless with my daughter, I realized that, you know what? Everybody can fall from grace at any time. It's easy, especially when you don't have the mindset that keeps you vibrating highly. So anything can happen at any time. And I started to have a different respect for those people. And then again, when I started looking at my own life and how things I had come through, the physical, sexual, emotional, spiritual abuse throughout my life. And I'd learned to forgive everybody that was was involved in all of those situations, I learned to just started to let those things go. And I realized that, wow, for people who don't know how to do that, you know how paralyzing that is? It's almost, it's incapacitating. It stops you in your tracks. This is where depression comes from. You just lock yourself away. You can't move. You can't do anything. You don't know how to. So when you see people sitting on the street begging and they look like bums and they look lazy, it's because, to be quite honest, most of them don't know how. They don't know how to make life better for themselves. And I get emotional about this because I've been here. They don't know how. So what I do now, so right now, most people don't bring money. So people ask you for money, you can't give them money. But what you can do is give them a blessing from your heart, from love. See them in the best light. See that person dressed, clean, happy, smiling, in a job or a place that they want to be, being of service, living out their purpose. All is well. And you project that beautiful blessing onto them. Maybe even go over and say, look, I don't have anything to give you, but let me stop and have a conversation with you for 2 minutes. 2 minutes of my time is not going to kill anybody. In fact, you're probably going to help someone because you don't know what you say in a moment to someone affects the rest of their lives. I've heard of stories of people say one thing, person said, you said this and it completely changed my whole life. But instead of cursing someone or projecting bad vibes, like you lazy ass, get up and go work, you're flipping alcoholic or you're druggy or whatever people say. Because I used to say that. But I could have been one of those people. Hey, you could be one of those people too. All right? So be the good you want to see in the world. Yeah? Be the love you want to see in the world. Be the strength you want to see in the world. Be the joy you want to see in the world. Whatever you want to see, you have to be it first. Okay? And sometimes we have to fall from grace to humble us a little bit, but don't let that have to happen to you. Learn it now, because we're all a reflection of each other. So that bum on the side of the street that you're looking at and judging, just like you, he's a version of you. Okay? The next time you look at him, go, that's a version of me. How can I help myself to be better? I don't have any money in my pocket. And if I have money, give him the money. And you're maybe worried, what's he going to do with it? He's going to buy more drugs and he's going to, but that is not your business. You don't know what he's going to do with it. It's not your place to try to decipher what he's going to do with it. You do what's right for you. You want to give with a free heart. Okay? In the Bible, it says God loves a cheerful giver. So give cheerfully. Go and say, hey, whatever you're going through, man, I'm praying for you. I'm sending you love. I know you got potential. I know you got everything that you need inside of you. And you just need a hug or you need a shake your hand or whatever, do something. But make sure it's love-based. Okay? It's coming from love. So, no competition, because you just competing. In competing with anyone, you're competing against yourself, which is kind of stupid. Why would you compete against yourself? I understand if you're competing, say, for example, you're trying to be a better version of yourself. Some people say it's competing against themselves, but that's not how I look at competing against yourself. If you're competing against another human being, you're competing against yourself. So if you're a sportsman, you have to deal with yourself. Not look at the person over there. Do the best that you can, make sure you're strong enough, make sure you're fast enough, make sure all of those things that you've got, everything that you need is inside you. It's not outside of you. It's not that person that's going to make you win or lose. Okay? So when you're then running, say for example, running a race and that person is, and you're competing in that sport, you're doing the best you can, they're doing the best they can. And whoever wins the race deserves to win. It's a win-win. It means then that you didn't win the race. So it then means I need to go and work on this. I need more time on this particular thing so you can grow and win the race the next time. Okay. So it's being creative within ourselves in order to get to where we're getting. And in getting to where we're getting, we're not going, boo, you didn't get there first. We're going, hey, you're a worthy opponent. And you probably swap notes or they learn from you so that they can grow. We're here to support one another to grow. When you win, I win. And when I win, you win. Let's win for each other. And on that note, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and like the video if you like it, and also comment with a question, with a message, with a compliment, with something I could improve on, anything. Just please write a comment. It's nice to see people commenting and interacting and letting me know how you feel about things, what you're going through at the moment, what you need help with, what you need support with, any questions that you have. Happy to be there for you. Very happy to be there for you. And also please visit my website and see if any of the programs there resonates with you, and book a coaching call, which is an ignition call or a discovery call, so that we can have a chat to see what's going to be your next step. We spend an hour on the call to help you clear up whatever is going on. So if you've got a lot of noise going on in your head, to help you find some clarity and some middle ground so you can move forward and then decide what you want to do after that. Okay, here to help, here to serve. And I am glad that you're here. Thank you for staying tuned. And until next time, sending you big hugs and a lots of love. All right, talk soon. Bye bye.